Start recording. All right, here we go. Yeah, so this is that sample map, right? Um, Basically, there should be a blank layer. Like this should not be here. Might move those here in a minute. For your map, so whatever your top level is, usually it's good to have it blank. If you have your block out here, that's fine. I know everybody's got a little bit different workflow, but here's a separate map file for my block out. You can add, if you go to the window tab over here, go to levels, right? I just put it over here. And then you can add existing map files if you already got them, or if you want to create a new one, I would recommend doing a blank one if you already got stuff here. And then you've got the little eyeballs to toggle on the different levels. If you need to save something, it'll show you what whether you have changes or not. It's got the little pencil pen icon, so if there's a change there, you can see it. You can lock layers, so if I don't want to mess with the art here, right, I can only click on the block out. You can lock it. And then the controller icon is where you would have your level scripts, right? So everything that's interactive needs to be on the same layer. If, for example, like under the block out here, yeah, this is where I had some of the stuff for when you activate the console, it spawns a monster, right? If I accidentally put it on this layer, they won't be able to talk to each other because they're on different map files. So whichever one you use to do your scripting, make sure that you use just that level blueprint. What we usually do for Solar Purge is we'll have an empty persistent, right? And then we'll have a block out, an art layer, a lighting layer, sound, post-processing, navigation, and blueprint. So I can't count right now, but that's a lot. Yeah, so you can either create them here, add existing. Now, if I hit play, right, I see everything in the map right now, but the art layer is not showing up, right? I'm only seeing block out. Well, block out, if you right click on it, change streaming method, it is set to always loaded. If it's with blueprint, you have to do it through the graph. So for example, let's say I had this, right, in my persistent map, whatever is at the top, and then I could say something along these lines. I could say load stream level, right? There's also an unload option, and then you type the name of the level. So let's say sample map underscore art. Sample map underscore art. Make visible after load, right? So if I compile that and then hit play, see there's the art level. So you can decide whether you want to load it through blueprints, or you can right click on it, change the streaming method to always loaded. The reason for having it set to being blueprint is so that you can set up streaming volumes. So basically, let's say I have this half of the map over here, and let's say right before the door opens, right, I go ahead and load in this next section, right, so that could be another layer. I could do that in a blueprint. Say, hey, unload this, load in that. And you really do that, when the level starts getting really big and it's chugging a little bit. That would be a reason to have them separated out like that. This isn't that bad. This is fine. If I added a whole nother section to this after here, and then there's a bunch of art and whatnot and a bunch of details and lights and all that stuff, I might need to break it up into a different streaming level and then unload this one. So you have like a piece in between. I unload the last one, load the next one, right? And then vice versa if you're going backwards. That's just more of a performance thing and gets rid of the stuff that basically you're not, it's not in memory right now. If I'm not even over there and I can't see that, there's no reason to render it. But yeah, you can change these to always loaded. You just have them in the level by default, right? So they'll always show up. I'm actually going to unhook this here. Okay. And now if I hit play, see the art layer just shows up. And guy's chomping on a body over there. Say it one more time.
Level script. Like you cannot, like if you have the level,
Mm-hmm.
it will always be there. Like you cannot load and unload it.
Oh, the persistent. Yeah.
Only the art levels will be streaming.
Yeah. This level you can't stream in and out. Persistent, it's always there. So yeah, anything that's down here is basically like a sub level out of that. Those you can load in and out. If you unload the persistent level, it's gonna have an error. So if there's something like, let's say that for some reason I had art level 2 or whatever, and I put a volume inside of art, right? And I wanted to load in art 2, but once I do that, I unload art 1, this first one over here or whatever. Yeah, that might cause issues. So might have to put those things either in the persistent or maybe have another like level specifically for just loading things in and out. Like you walk through it and it's a trigger like this, right? And those are mainly responsible for, it's like, hey, let's load this next part of the map and then unload the other stuff behind it where you came from and lock the door maybe so you can't go back. Something along those lines.
Weird question.
Mm-hmm.
If you have loaded instead of
You're breaking up a little bit, Eli.
if you have a level contains a lot of enemies,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of calling for loading the enemies, you call for loading the whole level. It's like a shortcut. Will it work as a shortcut of like loading enemies inside?
I have never tried that. I guess that would technically work, maybe? I don't know.
Huh.
Are you talking about like enemies that are already in the map?
Yeah, like have
Okay.
a level, like a level with enemies for a specific room, and then just before you load it enemies.
Okay.
Then
Well,
once you trigger,
let's try that real quick because that's pretty easy to do. Of course, I got rid of this. I should have kept it there. Begin play. This is the sample map, right? Yes. Okay, and then we're gonna do load stream level. And then let's type in sample map underscore art. No, that's not too bad. I want to do it after like 3 seconds though. So it's just gonna pop right into the game. Okay, hit compile. Let's go back here. Oh, well, you know what? That would help if we put an enemy. That actually would help a lot out.
Put a lot of enemies in.
Yeah, I was like, I'm forgetting something. Oh, we don't have an enemy. That's okay, character enemy. Alright, I'll put a couple of... We'll put a turret and a specter. Yeah, let's put these. There we go. So you're over there, and you're over here, and there's a turret. Right there. Okay.
The specter to be purple.
Huh?
The glowing specter is purple.
Oh, yeah, he's... Yeah, I was like, I thought he was red. Yeah, okay, you give him a little... Okay, so we're waiting. Just gonna load in. There you go. So, yeah, it loads everything.
And they have the ability...
And they have the ability to do what?
Be aggroed.
Mm-hmm.
Load.
Yeah, I don't... Let me do this. I'm gonna set it to, like, 5 seconds, and I'm gonna... You're talking about having them aggro over here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna wait back here.
If it works.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay.
So yeah, new opportunities. That's cool. I have not tried that before.
That's gonna be such a shortcut. Spawn a lot of enemies, and then
That way you can place them, and then yeah, you spawn them in.
Despawn them.
Yeah, so you're like, hey, I want to unload these guys out. So like wave 1, wave 2. Did you see that, Austin? For loading stuff in and out.
So basically making them on different layers and then spawning in a new layer.
Yep.
Well, yeah, there's no spawning. They're
No
already
spawn,
they're already
just
they're already in
spawn,
the map.
Loading it.
Yeah. So like this. Let me do let's do this. I'm gonna create a
Would've saved
new.
me so much time.
I'm gonna create a new, and let's put it on sample underscore enemies. Okay. And then I'm gonna click. This is how you move stuff in between streaming layers or whatever. Oh, let me go back to lit. I guess it's too hard to see. So I'm gonna select this guy, and the turret, right? And then I'm gonna double click on the layer I want to move them to, right click, and then move selected actors to level. Now they're on this one. So there's art, enemies, block out. Okay. And this one should be set to change stream method. Yeah. So double click this one. We'll change it back to always loaded. And inside of the level blueprint, I want to load in underscore enemies. Yeah, I think it was plural. There we go. And then this, I want to check again. Yep, blueprint. So yeah, we're playing, and then oh, it's 5 seconds. It's gonna take a second. Oh, where are you guys?
Wrote map in the name of
Oh, did I write that wrong?
sample enemies.
Oh, I didn't write map. Okay. Oops. There we go. Sample. This level does not exist. Good catch. Oh god. That's actually a really nice way to do that. Yeah, so like right here, I could, use this, the console. Excuse me, I'm trying to open a door. It's like right there, and you could spawn them.
Saves
Over there.
so much time. This is gonna be a really used.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I have not tried that. Yes, so you can spawn dynamic stuff in too, and it looks like it'll work. Very, very cool. So yeah, and if I want to save this, right, just the enemies level, I'm gonna click on just that one. It'll go back to a disk icon. I'm like, okay, I want to save that. Save this. It makes it a lot easier. I always have the levels tab up. That's always good.
I'm glad I only did the lights already. The streaming of the lights.
Oh yeah, it's really good to keep them things separate like that.
No, I did the streaming of the lights using blueprints and activate. I'm glad I only did those and not the enemy fires and other things that I'm about to stream.
Yeah, so I mean, even with the, if it's something interactive that you can go and turn on as a light, then maybe put that in the blueprint layer, whatever your interactive layer is, right? And then if it's just in the scene, like these, these spinning lights or whatever, that would just be in the lighting tab, essentially. So, for example, let's do levels, create new, empty level. I'm going to do sample map, because I forgot the last part of it, and then do lighting. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the world outliner. I'm going to type in lights, so alarm lights, skylight, point light, all that stuff. Double click here, right click, move selected actors to level. There we go, it didn't crash, that's good. So yeah, no lighting. Nice. And let's set this to always loaded. Now what you could do too, Eli, is you could have, if they're all dynamic lights, and there's a bunch of them, you could have that on a layer and just, if you want the lights to pop in, like you're saying, yeah.
Too late.
Oh, just too late. Okay, all that stuff, you've already done all of that, okay.
I already did it all in.
Okay. Well, once you learn another way, you kind of get mad, and you're like, well, why didn't I know? Okay. It happens. I'll move the mic a little bit over here. Alrighty. So, yeah. Play. Yeah, lights are in here. It's good. Yeah, so as far as art goes, you've got your block out here and whatnot. So first thing you probably want to do is go online and look at reference for whatever type of setting that you're going for, and try to utilize what we have in the content browser. If there's something you can't find, right, something real specific that we don't have, just write a comment for that in the Discord, and we will see if we can help you find something. There's a lot of stuff in here already. You guys already know about the sci-fi modular environment. This is a nice pack here. That's where a lot of these assets for this level are in. Some of them have collisions, some of them don't. This particular pack has options for things without signs and without emissive lights on them. So you can swap the materials out. So there's like decals, paint, and then, you know, without those properties and whatnot. There's some glass. There's glowing things you can add. Yeah, this is a decent pack. And then some of the other ones that we have, some people are using it already. There's these kind of like more doodads for sci-fi, cables, and doorways and stuff. Some more sciencey. Some people are going to be using this gore. This stuff is really nice. I know Eli's going to be using this. Maybe Aaron, and then there's some parts of I think Dakota and David might be using this potentially. So anywhere that you want to kind of go from, you know, hey, we're doing all this kind of sci-fi hallway stuff, and as soon as you start adding these kind of things in there, right, start taking it, whoa, what's going on, right? That's gonna load the. Actually, this actually might look kind of cool in here. Ew. Nasty.
That's cool.
Right. Main thing with decorating is make sure that the player can understand where to go. If you add too much clutter and too many details or whatever, and the player can't tell where to go, that's a bad thing.
That's Warframe.
It's a Warframe. Unfortunately, there's a lot of games out there that do that. They're like, oh, this scene looks awesome, but when you're playing through it, there's not really a lot of indicators of where to go and what you can jump or climb or walk through and this and that becomes a big problem. So my thing is to kind of keep the pathways mainly clear if you can. If you want them to bob and weave around stuff and like that, like that's okay. Like this, I could probably push this into the wall, or if there's enough room for them to go around in the AI, maybe, you know, just kind of play with it a little bit. These kind of things you want to have maybe a little bit planned out for in the block out, but this stage is always fun to see, you know, like what you can come up with. But yeah, just making sure the pathways are clear and the player can still tell where to go. So things like shapes, lines, colors, lights, things that are moving, just kind of draw their attention towards the main path, the critical path. Let me close these real quick. No. So yeah, if we put some more of these things on the floor, you also be able to walk over them if it's something down here. And then another thing is, a lot of people tend to do this. So what's the problem here?
It's stretched.
Yeah, this is horribly stretched, right? And its texel density is not the same as this here. There's a really cool option down in, let's see, there's the lit mode, right? Unlit, wireframe. Detail lighting is cool when you do the lighting pass. Lighting only.
Make it really dark and
Lighting
nobody will
pass.
notice.
No, that is not okay. That is not okay. Yeah, under the optimization view modes, there is a light map density and light map complexity. Whoops. So let's say if I scaled this down here, this isn't, well, actually, how big was this? I don't remember. It was like that. So yeah, the pink one is whatever whatever you have selected. But see the color changed, right? This does not match this here. We kind of want everything to be somewhat of the same color. So, whoops.
Cool.
Yeah, just don't scale. If you can start to see a difference between different objects, right? The scaling here is not too bad, right? And then something next to it is like, wow, that's way off. That's a big, you can tell something is not great quality. So that's not horrible, right? We kind of fill up the space a little bit. Kind of flatten it out. You can always rotate things. What does it look like here, right? And then actually, you can do this for both organic stuff and for artificially made stuff like these things. If you either make it into a group, right? You press Control G, group those things, and then you can duplicate them, move them around, right? Whoops. Yeah. And if you hold Shift while you're doing that, the camera will move along for the ride. So it's like, hey, I want to put something up here and have it go down the hallway above or something like that. These pieces on the wall here are all grouped. I guess not that one. All these pieces here, so there's like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 4 pieces here, all grouped together, and just copy paste it all the way down. Same with these. This is one group right here. If you come outside, you see the outline. Duplicate all the way along, and kind of making things like little Lego blocks, essentially. Kind of group them together. It makes it really easy, especially when you have a large hallway or a large scene to kind of decorate. If you do it just by one piece at a time, that's going to take forever. So, make things into groups. So, for example, let's say I have that piece on the floor, and then I have this one here that I'm going to scale up a little bit. Put it into the floor, maybe. Rotate it. Maybe there's another one over here. Whoops. Grabbing the wrong ones. Maybe it's going like this. Let's see, can I scale it up a little bit? There we go. And scale this way. Something like that, maybe. And I could take all these pieces, right? Group them together. And then you can press Control and tilde or hit this little world icon here. We'll make sure that they all go in this direction. And maybe I'll rotate it around like that. Maybe bring it a little bit this way. So, maybe you might not be able to tell that this was copied all the way through, just some parts if you're paying attention to it, Maybe bring it down on the floor if we need to a little bit. Use your bracket keys. We'll do another one over here. And just kind of lead the player over here. Like, oh, God, the kind of blood fits in with all that. Now it's
So I
kind of
guess
getting
it would
all
make sense
nasty and
for
whatnot.
more of us to use the. I assume we're going for a theme here that. I guess we're going for like the overgrown like blood and guts stuff.
I think once you start getting later into the map, especially yours, Eli's, Aaron's kind of at the technically the end. Herdswood had a lot of this stuff, but at the beginning, I would say use these kind of things sparingly. And as farther as we go, it'll start getting more and more like this. And this, will create some interesting, you guys can modify your levels a little bit because, now it's a little bit overgrown and whatnot, kind of nasty. Some giblets and whatnot on the walls.
What was the Control tilde thing you did again?
Oh, how to change the direction. Yeah, so let's say I rotate this piece. Whoops. Like that. It's in world mode right now. So Control tilde. See how it switches?
Oh, it's relative to it or the world.
It's relative to it or the world, yeah. So if I went to
So
go
it's
in
just
this
a hotkey
direction,
thing.
yeah, you can change the hotkey if you want to in the settings.
I needed that before. Didn't
That's
know it
this tool right here. Yes, very nice.
I've needed that many times before.
I think I mentioned it in the first class, but
I probably wasn't listening.
Oh,
If I'm being honest.
yeah. He's being honest.
You don't get a key anyway.
I'm not
Okay, yeah.
trying to get a key anyways now, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. So yeah, like back here it gets kind of dark, right? So maybe if we had some sort of light here coming off of that, just kind of if we had something that was actually here in the world, right, to emit light, that would be better. Whoops. So it's not set to. No, it's set to always loaded. Why? Oh, I was hitting H, I guess. Whoops. Yeah, so like, let's say that this doesn't cast shadows. It's just there to kind of brighten things up. We can bring down the intensity.
I like the look that not casting shadows gives, but the issue I have with it is whenever you have it next to another room and you can see the light coming through from the other room.
Yeah, so, you know, you could either play the attenuation a little bit. So it's just like in one spot. Yeah, so it's like not hitting outside of the wall. It's just basically right here.
I always like the idea of having a light lighting something spooky up because of like a fallen, like a working light that's fallen over, and it's just like lighting up a down a hall or something.
Uh-huh. And we have some of those meshes too. There's whoops. Bump the mic there. Is it this one? No. I'd have to go find it. There's some stuff like this maybe. So you could drag into here. Right, maybe the light fell down or something. Or, you know, it was on the wall and it looked like it fell.
Oh, I love the things where you have one of those types of lights that's hanging by like, it's just hanging by its cord and it's just swinging.
You could do that, and then something like this. Oh my gosh, I'm having issues with the editor today. If you come down here to the light component, right? Down under the light function property, you can actually go online and look up strobing light material, right? And you apply this to right here. And I need to change that to be movable, and then we can access that. I don't know if we have anything right now. Strobe, light, funk. Okay, yeah, we don't have any right now. But basically, it's like they're flickering. Now, I wonder if Michael had made something similar to that in the blueprints folder. Flickering light. Eli BP's. He made a flickering light at one point.
Made flickering lights in the BPs as well.
Okay, he did it with a timeline, but you could technically do that with a material. I don't know what this is going to do. We'll see. Like that. That's kind of cool. Oh my god. So especially for this type of game, right? Having some really good lighting. Oh, I hit the spawn point. Yeah, that's that spawn point thing. And good lighting, having some really nice effects and kind of an atmosphere, right? That's really important. And then sound. Those are what are going to make this really, really nice. But yeah, you can change these to be static, stationary, or mobile. Or I'm sorry, movable. You can turn the effects world off, right? If you need to toggle it, right? Or cast shadow. Let me get rid of this guy. You can change the color, attenuation radius, the source length. So if you want to stretch it out a little bit. So if it's more of
So
a...
what is the length and radius actually doing?
It's kind of hard to see here. Let me make this
very
brighter.
subtle differences, but it doesn't really do much.
Okay. Let's see if I can show this off. Okay, so that's the radius, right? the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Let me brighten this, or there we go. So yeah, there's the radius, and then we have the length, which you actually stretch it. So let's say if you had a like a fluorescent light almost, right? You know
So
how
is
those are
that
kind of
the
long.
area that it produces light from?
Yes,
I've used it, but it always feels like it lights up the most still at the middle.
and it probably will, but you see how it's kind of extending it here. You may have to change the some of these other sections here. There's a soft source radius. I think that's kind of blending between here and the ends or whatever. So you could try that one. Yeah, but see how this is going from like that into stretching it way out.
What does soft source do?
Let's see, soft source. Soft radius of light source shape. Note that the light sources shapes which intersect shadow casting geometry can cause shadowing artifacts. So I think it's kind of blending. See how this up here? Watch this section right here. See what it's doing? It's
Which
kind of,
sections you point off? Oh, the bar.
and you see the environment kind of changing? Yeah. So it's kind of taking it from like that middle section, it's kind of blending it out. So instead of being kind of bright right here, it's kind of like just kind of a soft glow almost. So this might be really cool for like accent lights. So like, let's say if I come through here, maybe one of these back sections over here. Let's say it's like right here, and then something like that. It's a little bit easier to see, yeah. So if it's like a light that's going all the way down here. See, it's set to stationary or movable. See the shadow stay? As soon as I set it to static, right, it's going to ask us to rebuild. And then see the source length. See how it's kind of extending it a little bit. And then the source radius.
So just as
Source,
a temporary thing, if you're messing with lighting, while you're messing with it, could you make it to, could you set it to movable just so you can see what it would accurately look like?
You can. It is not going to look the same when you build it. So, that's what the option for when you do the build, right? There's a drop-down menu, and then there's the lighting quality. So you can build lighting only. There's the quality, production, high. I would recommend only doing preview, right, for a very long time when you get to kind of where you want, and then start bumping it up. Ideally, this is where you want to be at when you're done, is production. And then you got to make sure that you have a light mass importance volume in here.
I imagine it just takes longer to build it with each.
Yeah, so the quality like goes up a decent amount. Probably not as much between up here, but from preview to high in production, yeah. And it's gonna take a lot more time. So yeah, for my lighting layer, I probably need to add a light mass importance volume in here from the modes panel, and make sure that this entire thing is in it. That's the navigation, yeah. So I'm gonna put it in the middle. We're gonna scale this guy up. Okay. Okay, most of the map is in there. Good. Yeah, and if I were to go to hit build, it would go ahead and update all that stuff. Okay, I'm gonna hit save.
So every time you build, does it rebuild everything, or does it only rebuild the things that it knows it has to rebuild? The things that have changed.
So it'll show you how many lighting objects need to be rebuilt, right? And then,
And then it will reveal the whole thing.
well, here, I'll show you. I'm going to set it to preview. This might cut out for a second, so bear with me. Shouldn't take too long. Advertising for Ryzen processors here. It's going to set 0 forever. Building. There we go.
I'm happy and sad I bought a 16 core Ryzen Gen 1.
Happy end said when you
Yeah,
could have waited
the-
for the 4.
But the gen difference is so big. If I would have waited, it would have been a significant.
What? Because the 4000 series is coming out. What? Is that
Yeah.
fairly soon?
No, I got Gen 1, so I'm
Yeah.
like already 3 generations behind.
Well,
and it's only 2
Which one
years.
did you get? I have a 1700X.
No, I have the Threadripper 16 core.
Oh, you 16. Okay, you have the Threader. All right. Nice.
But it's still
Is it-
like the difference is humongous between Gen 1 and Gen 3.
Yes. Pretty big. What are you saying, Paul?
I was just gonna ask, is that Threadripper pretty badass?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
For the things we do, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, this kind of stuff. A Threadripper would blow my 1700X out of the water. This is an 8. Well, let's see. Threadripper, you said it's what now?
Mine is the 16 core.
Okay, yeah, so mine is 8 core 16 threads, so basically double this. Vroom.
No, even getting the same one, they changed the architecture so much. Even if I'm getting a 16 core 3rd gen, it's gonna be completely different.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I'm gonna save all these levels here. So Austin, I built the level, right? The lighting needs to be rebuilt is gone. Now I'm going to, let's see, that's not in a movable layer. Let's do something.
You need something with
Art-wise.
enough shadows.
Yeah. Is this all set to? Well, let's try. Let's go back to that folder. Let's add. I don't know. Let's add one of these on the. Now, sometimes it's a little weird because it won't show that lighting needs to be rebuilt, but it really does. So let's put. I don't know. Maybe you can't go through here for some reason until you. I don't know. You shoot at it, or maybe this isn't
I
the
do
wall.
not have because the only baked light that is in because you don't have anything that transmits lights that is not movable or stationary.
Yeah, and these are. Yeah. So if it needs to be rebuilt, it's probably gonna tell you. Die. Okay. I think they're still chasing me.
That's a good name for our game. Die, alien, die.
There's also another song by that name, but it doesn't have good language in it. Alright. I want to hit save. Yeah, so let's say, this is good, right? Inside of the map layer, or I'm sorry, the map folder, you'll find these, right? So right here it says sample map _ lighting build data, right? And then the enemies build data. And then I don't know, where is the other sample map art and whatnot. So yeah, I will probably let's see. We do build lighting only for this layer. All the levels are kind of separate. I thought there was a master. It was build all, or maybe just build this bit right here. And let's let it run. Yeah, so there's you can check these map files out separately. So if somebody, I'm working on this part of the level, and then somebody else can work on the lighting. It creates a separate file in here, right? So yeah, there should technically be a art. build data here, although I don't see it right now. But yeah, here's the file that happens when you do a light build. All right, let's see. What else? We talked about streaming levels.
The only baked light that you have is in the.
Do what now?
You only have one baked light in the end of the level, and you only have blockouts
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah,
So-
this thing over
It's
Well, let's
all
see what's,
over the end where you put it
stationary.
minutes ago.
Are you talking about? Oh, you talking about the light back over here?
The light in the end is the only
Oh,
one you
okay, yeah.
change to.
Oh, you're talking about.
static. There's only one static light that you added. This one, yeah.
Yeah, that's movable. Yeah. So that one, see, yeah, it didn't ask us to rebuild because that was movable. Yeah. So there's really nothing else to build. That was it. But yeah, try to keep your stuff separated out as much as possible. You can have this set to always loaded. If there's several different parts you want to load in or out, you could do that through the graph, right? So you just don't want to do this on the graph it's being loaded on, right? So you'd probably want to do the persistent or something like, hey, we're gonna load this in when you go through a volume or a trigger that's also on that level. You could do it like that. Have a separate one for lighting, right? You could have a separate one for sound, right? You could have one for effects, navigation. Like you kind of have I don't want to say unlimited, but you can put as many as you want in here. After that, it just really comes down to performance. When that's what we're going to talk about, probably getting towards the end. Does anybody have any questions about decorating or art or anything like that, or trying to achieve a certain look? Not finding the pieces in there.
I'd already started my art pass,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have that other level. So I can just add that.
Yeah, you can just add
Just like
or
you just-
create new. Yeah, empty level, right? And they'll add it in here, and then you just select all those pieces, right? So let's say, see this one here. Is that on the art? Okay, yeah. Here's a good example. So I accidentally did put these right in the right layer. So I'm gonna select those, right? Okay, and then I'm going to double click on art, and then right click, and then I want to move selected actors to level. And now they're on this layer.
Okay.
Now they're on
So
layer, and
what
just
are
make
you
sure to
doing
save it.
to hide everything but the layer you're clicking on? Are you just like double clicking on it?
See the little eyeball that's right here?
Yep.
Yeah, so you can turn it on and off. So it's like I'm toggling the art.
Oh, that's just
Layer.
the art. Okay, no, I thought you were doing something that hid everything else but the layer. Never mind.
Oh yeah, no, this is only hiding that layer. If I turn off enemies, art, and then you only see block out, and then I turn off lighting, right? I think there's that one light that's still in there. But if I go to unlit, right, this is the only things that are left. So then this guy and the little blood pool that's on the ground, that would probably be needed to be added back
Oh, I
into
do have
art.
a question about lighting.
Hmm.
So you said that when you put a light into a room, it will still cast light. It'll still put light into the crevices that maybe would be shadowed by it just a little bit, so it's not completely dark.
Are you talking about a skylight or a point light,
Well,
or one of these other?
a point light or any light really.
So yeah, if
Putting light into
if I put in like one of them from the modes panel and just dragged it in, it's already set to stationary, right? And shadows are turned on. And the intensity is already, what does it say, 8, something like that, 8, 10.
Is it gonna put any light in that corner that was just dark a second ago?
Which one?
Is it gonna just put it back where you first had it?
And do.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
whoops. Right here.
where that shadows is being caused by that triangle.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would it put any light in there by reflections or anything, or is it purely just what?
So
it can see?
that is a good question. So part of it would be if you go and build the lighting, right? There's a certain number of bounces that happen in the scene. And you can change that by going to the world settings and then under light mass. Let's see. Number of... Where is it? You see bounces on here? Okay, number of skylight bounces. Yeah, number of indirect lighting bounces, right? Technically, you can put this really high. I know people that have, get really good lighting and they put this at like 20, 30, 50. That will take forever to build out, but it looks nice. So you have that option to change. You would try that, right? And you always want to have a skylight in the world. That's never a bad thing.
I guess why
Because
I'm
this will
asking those
brighten
is
up some of
I'm
these
using a
areas
lot of
too.
Fire. It looks kind of silly to have fire going down a hallway, and then to have absolutely no red light past like a certain point.
Right.
Or like just around the corner, to not see any red light coming around the corner from the fire.
Right. And you could. That's what. Remember, we added in these, these kind of point lights or spotlights in to kind of help flesh those things out. They're kind of dark, right? You could add in some of those. You could change the skylight here to be more kind of a reddish color. Let's see if. Okay, I'm gonna change this to movable for now. Usually you want this stationary.
You don't want to cast shadows either.
For indoors, yeah, because if we're outside, right? Yeah, this is kind of defeats the purpose. So yeah, you kind of play with this, and then see the intensity here is really low, right? So that's 0. Here's 0.1. See how that brightens it up? So it just depends on how much lighting do you want, and these really dark areas.
Setting a light to movable gives you like a decent preview of what it kind of will look like.
Yeah, if it's static, see, I would have to bake it to see what it looks like. So these are usually set to stationary or movable, because this also applies to like characters and stuff, or at least things that move. I don't know. There is a character indirect character lighting something. I'm not sure what that is.
It's not casting shadows, so you can use it as this specific one.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the intensity, you've got the color, and then you can change the cube map. So the cube map is basically like what lighting information is it bouncing around the scene. There's a decent amount of them in here. Find one that kind of suits what you're kind of doing. Access tunnel, that might be interesting. Let's change that, and sometimes it'll get really dark or really bright, so you have to change. So let me do like 0.25, 0.5.
What is it actually doing?
Do you see how dark this is? It's almost pitch black.
Mm-hmm.
If I put this at 5,
what image
yeah.
is what is the cube map?
Oh, that's kind of like the colors that are getting bounced around. So if I change this to be
I
more
see.
of like an outdoor blue or something, see what it did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's as if that was your environment.
Yes. This is like we're basically bouncing this lighting information around the screen. This is actually Epic headquarters. They have a cube map for that, and outside and whatnot. They use these in a lot of the sample maps that you would see. So there are some in here. I don't know if we might be able to get some more of these. The other option is that it actually captures the scene itself. Right? So that's usually if you have a skybox. Since we don't have one, since this is kind of interior, it may not work as well. But yeah, if you come and play with these settings here, this is kind of like the very fine-tuned stuff towards the end, right? But they'll really, add to your scene, make it look really cool. And then we could always change the color, right? So if you wanted more, you said like fire and stuff, we could make it be a little bit more orangish
Yeah, I've got
red.
an interesting relationship with lighting because I enjoy doing it, but I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing.
Well, that's how you start. You gotta start somewhere. See, like this, even doing that, right? Oh, there we go. See how that just kind of makes everything kind of reddish a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
And then let's
The issue
say...
with that though is that not every part of my level has fire in it.
True. Another thing is like exponential height fog. That's oh, I guess it's not gonna show up. Oh, I suppose I already have one in here. Yeah, let's say that, you know, this is more...
How to make it
like
look
smoke
smoky.
and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
So that's kind of getting that. See the fire. You know, if this was everywhere, you know, and they have,
It doesn't matter where the fire is. It's gonna be smoke all over the place.
it's gonna get you. Debris fire. Fire 1, 2, 3.
Now, can you change locate like? Can you make it to where that
Oh, that was it.
fog is only in certain locations though? Because as far as I know, you can only change its height.
So that would be a good example of like streaming something in, maybe. If this is on a streaming level, right? You like get into there and just kind of starts going into like that. There's also some settings you change with post process to get a little bit of an effect like that too. So where's my post process? Post process volume. Right? So mine's right here, right? And I don't have to be inside of it for it to work because the infinite extent is turned on. If that's turned off, right, I have to go inside of it and then it changes the properties. And when I leave, it goes back to normal. But if you wanted to place these around your level and you could have a, you know, change all this stuff over here, right? Depth of field, exposure.
Is there a way to do a soft change between those post-processing levels?
Yeah, so if they're overlapping, down here somewhere at the bottom, it's the option for how they blend together. Where is that?
Is there an effect for just the smoke? I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that hard to get rid of the fire out of one of the.
Oh, you're talking about one of these? I
Yeah.
could have thought there was just smoke.
I mean, if there isn't, it's not like it'd be that hard to just delete the fire out of one of them. But
Maybe, yeah. And you can always duplicate one of them and just get rid of the components that you don't need, right?
yeah,
You could do that too.
because I was thinking with where when you first start the level, there's a bunch of fire around, but then you immediately go to the warehouse where there isn't any fire, so I wouldn't want there to be smoke in there. But when the door only like partially closes, I'd like to see smoke billowing out from underneath the door.
Yeah, okay. There's... It's not really...
Put the fire underground.
That could work. I could have sworn there was one that did that. I don't think it's... It may be Steam, not Fire.
Steam,
See, this is already
as
kind of
long as-
lagging a little bit.
As long as it kind of all looks the same.
Oh, what level did I load that on? Art? Oh, where did I put those? Oh, they're in the next hallway. Okay, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to run. Yeah.
For your life.
Open. Yeah. So, see, it's starting to lag a little bit right there. You just kind of have to have it some areas. Maybe over here I need to turn it off or whatever. But
What would you do about that? Because in the warehouse section I have, this kind of needs to be a lot of fire.
you kind of have to see how much you can get in there before it starts breaking down.
So I
Before
already
their
did
frames
add-
start going.
I added quite a bit, and then I decided, okay, that might be a bit much, and got rid of like maybe a third of them, but it still seems like there's quite a few.
I think part of it has to do with that there's a lot of smoke coming off of these.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the fire itself.
The 5C, what's the worst ones?
Yeah, that's the... It's when they're overlapping. Where am I?
God, they're really bad.
That's awful.
Yeah. They're not great. So, yeah, if you... if you press F5, right, like Eli said, like we're looking at basically optimization. So if you're green, that's good to go. Starts getting in dark red, that's not great. Like that's, fortunately the muzzle flashes don't last very long. But see when they start overlapping like this, they turn like white and pink, and that's bad. And see, that's mainly the smoke. I mean, there is some stuff on the ground for the fire, but I think it's more like
If
red.
you're talking quantity-wise, it's a lot of just smoke.
Yeah, and I think there's some options that you have in that pack just for fire, potentially. Let's see if I can open one of these up real quick. Let's take a look.
Or at the very least, if we could
Smoke,
just make it to where the smoke produces like half as much smoke or something, just a lot thinner.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there's kind of the spawn rate and whatnot, spawn scale, burst. I don't know if you guys have taken the VFX class. You can kind of take a look at this.
I know me and Eli are.
Y'all are in it right now.
Lifetime that is pretty bad on it. It looks like
Yeah, we could
they're kind
lower
of
the lifetime a bit and lower the spawn rate of it a bit, and that could help.
2 seconds.
Oh, smoke lasts for 5 seconds, 3 to 5.
Yeah. If you make it 2 seconds, make it a little faster, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, so those are kind of things you kind of have to balance when doing.
It looks really good.
And look at the materials themselves. If they use noise without append, it will cost a lot. So you need to change it to like small texture.
I do it like this.
The material itself, yeah, the region.
Yeah,
Depth fill, depth fade.
that may have some. That's like the further away, or if it's overlapping. See, it's kind of at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are probably ways to optimize it.
Yeah. And one thing you could do, Austin, is like these things here. Is it that one? Oh, no, that's not it. This one here. Yeah. Oh, that's a group. Or a, well, where's your emitter? Oh, there you are. Maybe have fewer larger things.
You
Right.
can make a lot of fires, and only one of them emits smoke, and then it will be much easier for the computer.
Oh, that looks bad. Yeah, don't scale particles. Yeah, they kind of like. Ew. Yeah, don't scale particles. But yeah, it's an optimization thing. So we'll have to. This is kind of like a case by case basis. Basically, anything that's has really high texture maps, has dynamic lights, has AI, has physics, lots of AI, lots of physics, are particles, right? Or like just things that are running on a tick constantly. Those are things that like really drop down the performance, right? The frames per second.
Basically, being a good level designer is knowing how to stress out your computer to the max and just try to run it to the ground, but still keep chugging.
Wow, we want to be able to hit a nice frame rate. Everybody knows how to do the
We're all slowly killing
FPS, right? Yeah, if you go up to this top down arrow, drop down arrow, show FPS, or you can type into the console.
Yeah, I've
The
been using that
FPS.
for my warehouse section, trying to figure it out.
So we've got like 60. See it bumps down into like the 40s. That's probably these lights over here that are all spinning, right? So yeah, you can make a good looking level, but if it's not optimized, then it's really not worth.
I just want
Not worth. I'm gonna
I
die.
just want RTX to be everywhere.
Sorry. Everywhere. But yeah, so fog, these different types of lights, that cube map, the number of bounces, and the world settings. Gotta have that light mass and importance volume. Use these streaming levels as much as you can. Ideally, what we could do is, like, once you do your art pass and it's start time to remove the blocking shapes, you might be able to set these either as hidden in game, right? Or you go and use blocking volumes to kind of put around the environment. This option might be a little better. Let me see if I can bump into it. That's the question. Yep. So I am bumping into those things, even though,
Oh, so that's kind of gone for like a second. What were we talking about?
like for the blockout, essentially, once we have all the art in there, don't really need this stuff in here anymore. But you could use that as collision, technically, depending on what the
How closely
you
it
know.
matches up.
Yeah, and having and how many, we don't really want a whole lot of materials on these things, like, at all. That's why they usually use let's see, volumes. Yeah, there's these blocking volumes, right? So if I put this right in the middle of the path, right, make sure the settings are blocking the player down here,
Right,
whatever
default
options. Yeah, we added a different channel for the player. So yeah, I'm hitting it. I can't go new.
So is that even cheaper than just making than putting a block in that's invisible?
Probably, because this isn't rendering any textures or materials. But for now, if you just wanted to see what it looked like without that, but keep all of, like, hey, I'm bumping into these things, you could just have that set to hidden in game for now. That might be another layer that we add as a level, another streaming level, is the collision and whatnot. If you notice, I'm bumping on something right here. And I'm not sure if it's this or something else. What is that? Collision. Okay then.
Yeah, you need to use
Yeah, that's not great.
Large
secondary collision.
Yeah, so with
Use
something like this, you could do auto convex. That'll help a little bit. You
And
change
then
the
try to
settings
form it to the shape of the object.
somewhat. Yeah, that's a little better.
Yeah.
A little better. Let's see, like, this kind of stuff may be causing issues.
Yeah, but it's kind of done a pretty good job considering how weird of a shape it is.
I'll tell you, that's one thing that really annoys me in games is when we have really bad collision on things.
Yeah.
See, I'm kind of bumping up and down on these little things right here. It's
I
not
always hate
that bad.
whenever a
It could
game
be
has
just
like
flat.
stairs or something, and as you're going up the stairs or down it, your screen just goes da 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 as you're going up and down it.
Yeah, I prefer stuff like that that's smooth because it's annoying. Yeah, we just want to make the experience as smooth as possible.
Borderlands 3 Day 1.
Mm-hmm. Is it
was
like that?
big.
What all did they... I didn't play Wait, did you say Borderlands 3 or 2?
3.
Oh, 3.
They missed out of pile
Oh, man.
trash.
Huh.
Had collision that you like go in.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's no good.
Beta testing.
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to do that. That is definitely important.
I hate it whenever. I hate whenever there's like an update released for a game, and it just feels like some of the most obvious things that maybe the entire point of the update was to do this, and they didn't even do it right. Like, how do you release an update like that?
So they can get it out there and make money.
but doesn't it ultimately end up hurting them more than it's helping them? Because people get mad at that. And they
Well, here's the question: how many people bought that on day one, though?
well, I'm not just meaning day. I'm not just talking about board
I'm-
games. I mean like
well,
when a
yeah.
game's like a games of service or something, and it gets updates frequently.
You're gonna hear the word MVP a lot. A minimum viable product. What can you do right now to start making money? Oh, we'll fix it later. People already bought it. I mean, look at Fallout 76.
Oh God.
They made a decent
Yeah,
They
but
made a
what
decent
kind
amount of
of,
money on that. Was it good? No, not really. And they're still fixing that, but people bought it. I mean, not a whole lot of people, but
I paid $100 for
see,
still not worth playing.
I'm
But
just
I
happy I
feel like
played
as
the
a-
beta.
I feel like as a long-term investment, though, that's not a good idea.
so yeah, it probably not. But maybe they'll figure that out, Austin. Maybe.
If you're a small EA or something like that,
I think that Ubisoft is starting to figure it out. Like they pushed back like every single game that they had coming out this year or last year to this year. Like they started this like months ago. They pushed it all back to sometime in 2020 releases. And previously they were releasing the last like many games that they'd released. They'd been releasing them well before they really should have been released. Like starting back in like Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you what's going through their mind, but there's some things you probably should do and some things you probably shouldn't do, and hopefully
just
some
like
of those
to think
people
that
learn a
maybe
lesson.
they're trying to get away from the whole, just release whatever you've got. It doesn't matter what state it's in, and we can fix it later.
I think that's
Probably
probably they're figuring out that's hurting them in the long run. Maybe.
there's a part in the song Portal in the end when you finish it. Says we're out of data, releasing of time.
Wait enough time. Die.
Eli, I think you might need to go into like your voice settings. I think that you have it set to when you're too, like your mic it cuts you out
moving my
whenever you
mic.
get a little bit quieter.
I'm moving my mic a lot.
Yeah, I think it might be when you're getting a bit quieter that it cuts you out because I think it's what is he doing?
Oh, they still can't move through doors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying I think that the way that you have like the settings set up is it's cutting you out whenever you're getting too quiet.
No, I was moving my mic. Moving my mic up causes it to be
Oh, okay.
silent. So, ooh, nav mesh is cut.
Yeah, so the doors, that needs to be fixed.
Can
Yeah.
we make the doors to be transparent for the nav mesh?
Yeah, you just turn off FX navigation, and that'll probably fix that. Do you know how to turn this on in game? You just type in, go into the console and type in show navigation. You can toggle it on and off.
What's
And
the
have your frame counter.
navigation or the what's the console?
Tilde. Right underneath the escape key.
So is that guy gonna attack you or is he just kind of munching?
That's just an animation or whatever. I've got him and I've got let's see, this other thing here. Where is he?
Quadripus.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so there's the gastrius and then there's a tetrapus. It's this nasty ugly thing. Let's see what he looks like. I probably. Well, let's see. Well, isn't that very scary? He's got, oh, yuck.
That's a bit scary.
It's just playing a root motion animation. Yeah, that's nasty. So yeah, I'm getting a little variety of some of these things in here.
I like
Yeah,
the
we could
variety
probably-
of enemies so far. So what all do we have? We have like the kind of somewhat invisible one.
Yeah,
what
there's
else do
the
we have?
specters, there's the regular ones. You've got these turrets, which I think we are going to need a base for, so they're a little bit more.
I wanted to split them so
level.
that the base and the turret will be
Yeah,
right
you
now
always want
cannot
to separate them.
up or down.
Yeah, I locked it because they can't. These are just one piece.
Are you still working on that, Eli? Or are you gonna make them separated?
I'm gonna
so we
make them because I need it for my level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna split them and then can you unlock it so that it will do I'll change the mesh, just the algorithm able to point them up and down, and I'll
Yeah.
do the mesh design later.
I'm trying to remember if it's looking. Let's see. Yeah, it's setting the entire thing, so we can have it to just this. Imagine if it's just that barrel part. The pivot does need to be right here, though.
Where that kind of circular bit is.
Yeah.
I'll add.
So it rotates from here, and see right here is offset, because that's where the pivot is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll edit the mesh.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. Yeah, do y'all have any suggestions for art that we don't have that y'all might need? Because I think Eli did the cave pack, the Souls Caves here, which is really nice. I haven't looked in here in a while. Yeah, there's some cool blocks and whatnot. There's some more weird organic pieces and whatever the heck that
What
is.
was that thing? Can you go back one?
Which one?
Back to whatever you were at.
This
It's on
one?
the bottom right. Yeah.
Some sort of statue.
Oh, it's kind of cool.
Creepy statue.
Yeah.
I deleted some materials to not
Oh, you did?
the pack, so. But,
Yeah, there's some
Most
bricks,
of
the
the things
building
are-
stuff.
it's mostly for the cave system for Aaron's level.
Mm-hmm.
Those things.
Yeah, these will be nice. Was this pack made for mobile or is this for desktop?
No, this is desktop.
This is desktop.
Yeah, it's not the Infinity Blade type thing.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. These look pretty good. Not bad.
And it's not scanned, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's okay. It gets the job done. Entrance rocks. Okay, it looks like these are all kind of
They have nature
Together.
as well,
nature.
which will be good for Simon's level as well.
Yeah, he put some of these things.
I would definitely
or
need
whatnot.
like wires and things like that.
They have chains in this one, and I think you have wires in the. I added.
Tubing and stuff.
I added in third party. I added zero grav pack as well for the test facilities.
Oh yeah. See, what does this look like? Is this nice? Cool. And you said you added what pack now?
In third party, there's not Templeton, there's zero gravity. The
Oh,
last
this one.
one. And this will have a lot of things that you'll need for many levels.
Those are cool. Props. Here we go.
Yeah.
There we go. That's good. Yeah, I could use like the tubing
Cables.
and stuff for the warehouse. Yeah.
There we go. Cool. Yeah, these kind of things are.
What's that
pretty
under?
nice.
That's on third
Zero
party.
gravity.
Yeah, third
Yeah.
party, zero gravity.
Okay.
What else have we got in here? Houseplants pack, blood pack. I think we're gonna make some blood decals, whatnot.
There's
Uh,
a really cool water splash in the cave thing
Oh
that I'm
yeah,
just
that was
gonna
one of
paint.
the things I need to ask about.
Which
Uh,
one? Oh, in this
the
pack.
cave- yeah, in the cave pack, there's in the if they have effects or something like that. Particles. They have particles, dust particles and stuff. Water.
There's a waterfall.
Yeah.
See that might be a. Whoa, lag.
That's weird.
Actually,
I was
it
gonna
lagged
ask
a
if
lot.
we could get some kind of an effect for like a sprinkler system or something.
I mean, what you could do is probably take one of. That one's really laggy.
Mhm.
I also do have a lot of blueprints open. Hang on, let me close these. No.
Because whenever I turn on the
Try that now.
for my level, whenever the fire suppression, there's gonna be like a spot for like a fire suppression system.
Oh
to
no, it's not that
override
bad.
you
I
can
just
turn
had too
on.
many tabs open. You could do something like
wonder.
this. Is this nice?
Well, it kind of makes it look like it's having an effect on your screen almost whenever you go into it.
Yeah.
It's distortion. Yeah.
It
See,
has
that's nice.
properties of water.
If you
There,
wanna
there was
have-
a water
Mm.
splash thing there as well. That is like,
that may be in the
not in the blueprints. Affects me? No, I don't remember. But it's there.
there was an effects for mobile.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
spark, steam, trash. Oh, is this like blowing?
Mhm.
Flying paper. Okay. Oh, drips. Where are the actual like
I'll be right back.
particles? Engine, got array, lasers. Okay. Leaves, simple fog sheet. That's nice. Cool. Sparks.
It's a really this effect is sparks. You can use it probably in like half of the levels.
Here's a cool one for just steam. That's neat.
Yeah.
You have steam coming out.
This cave pack is really good.
Oh, it looks like he's passing. Sorry. All right.
like
What else
that.
we got in here? Paul approves. Yeah, there's some other cool stuff in here. Yeah. But yeah, if y'all find anything else, somebody probably has it. I know Michael put in another one here recently.
I'll be back.
Was it the Kit Bash one?
Kit
Yeah, I
Bash
think he put in this one. This one also has cables. And other nice walls and stuff. Some corner
Well, that's
pieces,
the,
kind of snap these together.
That's the thing we used for my project development class or intro class. I mean.
Is this that pack that y'all used?
Yeah.
Okay, you should be very familiar then.
Well, very familiar is maybe a stretch. We didn't get.
Y'all
too
didn't
far
have
into
y'all had an issue with these though, right?
it.
Because y'all said they wouldn't work or something.
I don't remember having an issue with it, but maybe.
Yeah, somebody was talking about like they wouldn't show up because SVN wasn't connecting them to.
Oh, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, we shouldn't have. I don't think we'll have that issue. But yeah, and then the other thing with art is basically just tell a story. So the way you arrange things, you know, is if nobody's been here for a while, maybe there's stuff built up everywhere, you know, or if there's like cobweb stuff or You know, it's kind of just nasty, dirty, some decals and whatnot. In the environment, you know, these systems are leaking, right? They're not being maintained. Obviously, you got all this gunk growing everywhere. So, you know, there's bodies on the ground. You're like, oh gosh, you know.
Did you use volumetric fog
Hmm.
for this? This is volumetric fog?
This one, I don't think that's turned on.
What's the fog that you have right?
It's just exponential height fog.
Exponential. Okay.
You can do volumetric fog.
What's the difference?
This one is actually like it gets fog. You see, it's really intense around lights.
Oh, I see. Because the lights are actually cast.
Interacting. with-
Yeah. So
So that's if you wanted to get like a really cinematic view outside or something like that in a foggy street or something, like a street lights doing its thing.
now, see, here's what is nice. You can change the well, if I find a good spot, you can change how much is being
much it
cast
affects.
from it. Yeah. So like if you can you put this at 0. Yeah. So basically, it's not really doing much. Like I don't. When there's nothing here, it's not like coming from anywhere. That's not really like.
Can you turn it off
Useful.
for a specific light?
I'm just setting it to 0, and it kind of goes away.
Oh, I see. For the specific lights.
Yeah, so like for the lights, these things, right? Or actually, let me get rid of that guy. And I'm going to get rid of some of these things here so I don't have to... Oh, let me click on him. T. If you press T, you can toggle selecting transparent surfaces. Alright. Yeah, see, this one is kind of being funky too. I'm gonna turn it off for now. But these have it. See, that's kind of nice. So it actually looks like. Yeah, that's nice. See, yeah, see for my
Just run through it?
flashlight though,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like
Yeah.
it's a little bit too much.
I mean, yeah. I guess could you turn it down for your flashlight though?
Probably in the let's see, blueprints, characters, first
It
person
could still
character.
be a cool effect if it's something you had to deal with in a foggy area.
Yeah, let me type in fog, or, well, volumetric, yeah. Like 0.05, yeah, something like that. That's a little bit better.
Yeah.
I just don't like that it flickers. That's my only thing with volumetric fog. When something's moving, like on a character or whatever, it just kind of flickers a lot. It's kind of hard to see. Let's try that. This scene does look kind of cool though. Let's make this back
That's pat
to.
on the back there.
I like, well, just from what we've done today.
Yeah.
Okay, so why it's so bright right now, I think, is probably because of that skylight. So down in here, yeah, the intensity. Set it 0.5.
So basically, what you have right there would be like a great screenshot for like a loading scene or something.
Yeah, we could do something like that. And that's, see, that angle or whatever, if you press Control and then a number, you can save a bookmark.
Yeah,
So
it
I did
saves that
Control 1
as well.
right there, Control 2, whatever, and then just press that number. So I press 1, and it'll snap back to that. So this right here is what we have for our splash screen when the editor loads up. Do you notice that our frames went down a lot though? It's probably because I'm streaming too, but then the volumetric stuff, yeah. So it's a balancing act for sure.
Is the volumetric fog still in there?
Yeah, I turned down the Remember, volumetric means it only acts mainly with lights.
Oh, I see.
See that? Oh, well, I died. Yeah, it mainly reacts with lights, and the performance did go down quite a bit. Maybe there's some settings we can change. So, see if I go back and change, if I turn it off. Well, there's
Why can't
scattering
we just have
distribution.
computers that can run anything.
Well, Austin. Maybe in the future. 05.025. Alright.
I just want to make the level look as cool as possible. Not have
See,
to
look at our
compromise it.
frames just jumped a decent amount.
So is there a frame rate we should be shooting for? 60, something like that, or
60 would be ideal. It's got to stay above 30 though. That's like minimum. You don't want it going from into the yellows, reds. That's very bad. So like 40 right now, that's not great. I don't care what the top number is, as long as the bottom number is as low as possible. If we have 200 frames, like, that's fantastic. Somebody will go buy a really fast monitor, right? If they want to. But the bottom frame rate, that's pretty high. If you can get that to 15 or below, that's good. That's really good. If you get it to around 12 or 10, that's fantastic. And then below that is like you won the lottery.
you get like a Nobel Peace Prize or something?
You get a key. No.
Oh, that's how
you
we
get a key.
keys, huh?
That's how you get keys. So yeah, just like decorating the scene here, you know, what it was before. I kind of like the way it's looking out. And see, here's all the emissive. Right, so those little bits that are glowing. Right, so they're not really casting much lights, and that might be something to think
So
about.
why is it that you're not seeing any lighting? Look back in that corner you're just looking in. You're not seeing really any light bouncing into that corner.
That's one because I'd probably have to go and back and build the lighting again, see what it looks like. Also because I brought down the intensity of the skylight. I
Yeah,
brought
but
down
I'm
quite a
talking
bit.
about the lights that you have, like the movable lights that you have in there, the red lights.
Are you talking about them not reaching over there?
Yeah, I thought that they would like bounce and do it or something at all.
Well,
Build the light importance. Make calc.
now see how it got dark, or it got brighter over there?
Uh-huh.
That also has to do with exposure. See how I can see that? But over here it gets
Yeah.
pretty dark. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that has to do with the auto exposure, and that's on the post-process volume.
I
So yeah, there's like
turned
the
off
lights kind of
the-
go away.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Walk back into the... So yeah, it's kind of a... Settings for that right now are a little bit wonky. Oh shoot, I'm about to die. Yes.
You need to just get rid of those enemies that just keep causing you
I
problems.
just causing pain. I feel like... is that low? Yeah, it is. Yeah, the fog, whatever. Yeah, it seems a lot brighter in here. So, yeah, there's a bunch of settings that you can change. But first thing is to go in there and get your art in first. And then you can go back and do a lighting pass after that. If you just want to get some basic lights in there so you can see, that's fine. Just hold L and left click. Go add a point light so you can see while you're working, or, you know, definitely go into unlit mode.
Or
That's nice.
I'm using
Using what?
post processing volume.
Oh, just, okay, you just bring it all the way up.
Very-
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can work too. And when you get to lighting, definitely use detail lighting and lighting only, right? So it doesn't show you any textures or anything. The detail lighting will show normal maps. See the bumpiness, right? Lighting only is just like everything made out of clay. So if I go in here, right, these are what lights are showing up, right? So there's that one we put in the
And
back.
why do you like using that? Just so you can see if lighting alone can guide you?
True, and also you can see the colors and where things are spreading to, right? Because when I have the lit stuff in the scene, right, and I can see all the meshes and whatnot, you can still see the lighting, right? But yeah, this will definitely kind of help guide you over that way. Like, oh, I'll go over here. There's another light that way. Over here and over there. Oh, there's something there. Oh, what's that? That's fire. Oh, there's a crane. Right. So this is more about doing like colors and whether something's saturated or you need some more contrast or it's too dark, too bright. If you don't want to look at any of the other stuff, that's what the lighting only mode is for. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
I think I'm good.
You think
Other
good?
than I wouldn't mind if you actually looked at my level.
I'll look at the level.
Be right now.
Okay. What time is it? 5. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.